Welcome to Fair Game. I'm Kristine Leahy. My guest today was one of the stars of the popular MTV show The Hills. Now she's starring in a reboot of the show, The Hills: New Beginnings. Audrina Patridge, it's so good to meet you.
So good to meet you.
This is like a crazy experience for me because I watched you growing up on TV. We're about the same age, so now sitting in front of you is pretty cool. The weather, I think, is perfect for this because it reminds me of the song.
Oh my God.
The Hills theme song.
That's like such an iconic song now for The Hills. Yeah.
Do you, like, if it comes on the radio, do you turn it off or you turn it up?
I probably, I don't turn it off, but I listen to it. I don't turn it up. It takes me down memory lane. It's like, okay, the whole intro of the old Hills just is running through my head as the song goes on.
Is it good memories, or do you think back on it? How does it work for you?
It's mixed. You know, there's good memories and there's stressful memories and dramatic memories, and but it's all, at the end of the day, it's a good thing. I have no regrets.
Is it true that they found you by the pool?
Yes.
To be on the show?
So I was probably right out of high school, I decided, I went to college for a little bit and I was like, okay, I'm gonna move to LA. Got a job at Coyote Studios, and it was the second or third week I lived there, and I was laying out with my roommates, and the producer was literally scouting that apartment complex by the pool and approached me and asked if I had watched Laguna Beach, and I honestly had never seen Laguna Beach. I knew of Lauren and everyone through magazines here and there, but no, he loved my story, and within 2 to 3 weeks, I was filming on the Hills.
Were you at all hesitant, or you were right in?
Well, at the time I was getting into modeling and acting, and I was working at a photo studio, so they loved that whole story, and it was me, Whitney, Heidi, and Lauren were the 4 LA friends.
So you were all in right away?
I was all in right away. I had no idea what I was getting myself into because at that point there wasn't really any reality TV.
Right.
So I didn't know what I was getting into. In the beginning, I was very hesitant, and when all the cameras were there, I was like, this is so weird. But I kind of wanted to use that to get comfortable with the cameras and kind of, be like, okay, well, this is gonna help me.
Were you guys actually friends? Obviously when you started, you couldn't have been.
No. We weren't. I didn't know Lauren, I didn't know Heidi, I didn't know Whitney. I first met Heidi, so the producers told us, you guys are not allowed to go to the apartment complex, the pool, for 2 weeks because we don't want you guys to have a run-in that's off camera. So we had to avoid the pool and the coffee area for 2 weeks until the cameras were there, and that's where we first met on camera.
Oh. Yeah. And then were you actually friends once you started shooting?
Yes, and then Heidi and I hit it off immediately. Her and I were friends first.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the moment that you realized, okay, I'm famous now?
When we were on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially for you, because you were always into music.
Yeah, I've always been into music, and that was that moment. I was so excited. I was like, you guys, this means something. This is a huge deal, being on the cover of Rolling Stone. So it was that.
You were so young at the time, and the fame came so quickly, and the show was so big. So I'm sure there were some mistakes, right, made along the way. What were some of the ones that you made, just because you just didn't know what you were doing?
Oh man, I mean, I feel like everything was a mistake.
Oh no.
No. Well, it's right out of high school, you get on this show and you have cameras on you all the time, and you're dating with friendships, and you're learning about yourself and what you want, who you are, on camera, and making all these mistakes. But the worst mistake is...
the one where you look back and you're like, oh, I wish I had done that.
When I look back and I say, oh gosh. It was probably a lot of the, oh my gosh, okay, so here's one. Well, you don't realize when you're filming, sometimes you forget that your cousins and your aunts and uncles and your family, they're all gonna be watching the show, and you forget. So I remember there was one scene, and they're like, come on, Audrina, da, 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 da. And I was like, fine, I'll do it. So it was me and Justin in the pool, and to get him in, I took my top off and I threw it at him, and I was like, now you have to come in. And after I did that, and it was gonna air, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, can you please not show that? Then reality hits, and you're like, my grandparents are gonna see this. So I don't know, little things like that.
What did she have to say about that, your grandmother?
We never talked about it.
She's like, I didn't see, I swear.
No, I know.
You guys also had a lot of celebrity fans
Yeah.
during that time. Was there anybody that reached out to you where you thought this was pretty cool?
Yeah. So one time I was at an event or a party and I saw Lisa Kudrow there, and she actually approached me and was like, "You are my favorite on the Hills." And I was like, "No, you're my favorite on Friends." And we just kept going back and forth, and it was so crazy because I was such a fan of her on Friends and Jennifer Aniston. But, you know, just to, at that point too, that was another hitting point where you're just like, wow, like people know who I am and they care. You know, it's surreal.
So it's been some time since we've seen you on TV, but now there's the reboot. When they approached you, were you immediately, you're like, okay, I'll do this? Or you had to take some time?
You know, in the beginning, well, now I have my daughter's gonna be 3. Yeah. So at first I was like, I have a daughter now. I'm going through some really crazy personal stuff with my ex-husband. And I don't know if I want any of that to be public. So I kind of had to make a decision. And, you know, I talked to the producers in the network and they reassured me about a lot of things. So my daughter's not on the show because I'm mama bear. And I just, you know, it's a whole different world, especially to bring a child into it. And that's just how I feel because I'm so protective. But yeah, so I was hesitant because of that. And then you know, it's a job, basically. Yeah. It's fun, but it's also a job. So I had to look at it like that.
So you'll talk about her on the show, but you just, you don't want anyone to see her.
Well, I just didn't know what the show is going to be about at first. And I feel like it's more of an adult show. It's not kid friendly.
Yeah.
Especially this reboot.
Oh.
Like, it is a wild ride, let me tell you.
Really?
Yeah. You know, it's basically, there's so much drama. I feel like there's more drama now than there ever was.
So Lauren is not coming back and Kristin not coming back. Were you upset about that?
I mean, I still talk to Kristin all the time, and she really, really wanted to be on the show. And I still tell her what's going on. She's like, oh my God, I wish I was there for that. You know, but maybe one day but Kristin will be able to. She's just under contract with other networks right now.
Right.
And then Lauren, none of us have really kept in touch with her since the finale. I feel like she has such a different life and a different world now that you know, to her it just wouldn't make sense to.
So you have Spencer and Heidi and Stephanie is coming back.
Yeah.
Jason and Justin. All back. So have you guys all kept in touch this whole time?
I've kept in touch with Justin, Heidi, Jason, even though like it's just we run in the same circle from Orange County. And then I've kept in touch with Whitney off and on. And that's about it.
So
Brody.
And Brody.
Yeah.
Brody's not going to be on it.
Brody's on it.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So how is there more drama now?
You know, I feel like where we left off, there was a lot of doors that were never closed and a lot of unresolved issues. So even though we had like 9 years off of filming, but we all went our separate ways. So now we're all back together. So when you put a group back together, like all these unresolved issues start coming to the surface.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so at the end of The Hills, I feel like Spencer and Heidi were still very much the villains.
They were, yeah.
Are they still the villains?
There's like, that's hard to say. We're still filming right now.
Okay.
But there is a new, let me
There's
just say.
There's a new villain?
The initials are SP.
Oh, you won't even say her name?
And that is the villain.
Oh, Misha Barton is going to join the show?
Yeah.
Which was interesting because the OC, I always felt like was the scripted version of your guys' show. So now she's joining yours.
I know.
Were you friends before?
I mean, we all ran in the same circles in LA, and just being in that industry in our generation, we were on TV at the same time. We were going to the same parties, same events. We had the same friends. So I knew of her, and I met her a couple times at events, but we weren't ever like super close.
Okay.
And so now that she's on the show, we've become really good friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did see a clip of you and Justin Bobby sitting at a table together. Is there anything that you can tell us?
Oh my God. Well, as you guys all know, Justin and I have always had this crazy, wild, off and on relationship. And, you know, we've always stayed in touch. And now that we're filming again and the show's back, it's like, we don't know what's going to happen.
Oh.
Like, I don't know.
Okay.
You know, with us, anything can happen with Justin.
How many
and I.
times have you guys broken up and gotten back together?
Gosh, well, I was with him from the time I was with him before I was on the show.
Right.
So that was like 19 to like for 5 years.
Yeah. It's a long time.
Yeah. We were together off and on for 5 years. I don't even know. We broke up and got back together, and that whole, if looking back over 10 years ago, and I've known him for 13 to 15 years, and where I am now, it's like black and white.
Yeah.
And now filming, it's almost like you go back into these old patterns where you snap back into that. It's like muscle memory almost. But then you're like, wait, this isn't, I'm not doing this again. Like, what is going on? Like, I don't do this anymore.
But he's single, right?
Yes.
And you're single?
Yes.
Okay. When we come back, more with Audrina Patridge.